Graham, with us on the phone is Doug Inglesby. He's a vitamin professor, and I'll just read the statement here, and this is kind of true. Do you ever put French fries, chips, crackers, or other snack foods into your mouth thinking to yourself, man, these are great, I just can't stop eating these? You've just been punked by an ingenious group of laboratory chemists who've discovered how to mix together batches of complex chemicals to produce the taste, colors, smells, and textures of real food. Correction, real delicious food. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. How's it going, you guys?
Good.
And it is true. I mean, it goes back to the old commercial campaign. Was it Lay's? You can't eat just one?
I know. I was thinking those guys must have thought around, said, hey, that sounds like a great one. Let's just put it right out there in front of them. We'll make it so tasty they can't stop.
Well, what is the ingredients that make us crave good-tasting fast food?
Well, it's like it's a list of chemicals, basically, and they can be combined together to, smell like beef, to smell like peaches, to smell like anything you want. And the real culprit is the olfactory epithelium, which is like a very thin sheath of nerves right behind your nose. And you can actually pass these scents across in front of your nose, and you will feel like you're tasting something. It's an amazing phenomenon. But you'd have to understand that when you dehydrate foods, when you freeze foods, when you do processing of foods, it takes all the flavor away. And so what they're doing now is putting these things back in, and then, it tastes like it's supposed to taste, but it's really not what it really is.
And it's not good for you?
It's usually covers up the fact that what you're eating is a lot of hollow calories.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of reformed corn, if you will. And, you're not getting people always say, well, I don't need vitamin supplements because I can always get it from the foods we eat. Well, that'd be true if we were really eating food. But what we're eating these days looks like food, smells like food, tastes like food, but it's something that's a little different than that.
We had a guy on the show, his name is escaping me, but he's the one that made the documentary film where he ate McDonald's for 1 month.
Yeah, and almost died.
Yeah, he said on our show that even though he now has finished the film and doesn't eat McDonald's anymore, he said whenever he drives by one, his mouth will still water.
Yeah, right. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's, there's an area in New Jersey, and it's called the Flavor Corridor. It's where International Fragrances and Flavors is, and a whole bunch of other companies. And they really have their stuff that they make is in just about 90% of the foods that are out there that we buy.
So when these foods that are chemical have all the chemicals in it to make them taste better, when we get used to those, and in all cases addicted to those, then the real foods will taste more bland, right?
Right, and that's basically what's happened, and that's why people tend to go. Well, there's a couple of reasons for eating processed foods. They're fast; you can kind of microwave them. They're in a box. They're prepared. There's lots of reasons because we have kind of a crazy lifestyle now, so we need to cut the time. We don't take the time to prepare foods. But it is actually a re-education process when you actually go into Whole Foods or a place where you can actually get real food and start, buying it and eating it. You'll definitely notice that it is a little blander and it is a little more natural. But it's something that can be done, and it's certainly a lot healthier for you.
Now, Doug has a vitamin, and this is not just a guy that developed a vitamin. Doug's entire family has been involved, pioneering actually, in the vitamin business since 1936. So tell us about this thing that you've developed.
Well, it's a powdered supplement, and it's called All One, and it sells at Mother's Markets, Whole Foods, Erewhon's. You can go into the big health food stores and get it. And what happened was, as the amounts of nutrition needs were going up and up, in other words, we weren't getting it from the foods that we were eating, and so we had to start supplementing it. The pills started getting bigger and bigger and more, and people were just becoming resistant to the fact that I don't want to gulp down a handful of pills. I know I need nutrition, but I just don't like to swallow pills. And so All One was created basically to transform your morning orange juice into the nutrition that you need for the whole day. And because it's a powder, you get protein along with the vitamins and minerals. And the protein provides amino acids, and amino acids are really important for assimilation of the minerals and certain vitamins. So it was kind of a one-step, forget all the confusion, put it in your orange juice, shake it up, off you go. and it works out great. People love it, and it's really putting back into your body the things that you're not finding in all of the processed foods that we're eating.
Doug, what's your opinion on organic foods?
I think organic foods are great. I think local foods are even better. Local organic is best. There's a lot of... Did you ever see the movie Food Inc.? Did you get a chance
No.
to see that? If you Netflix or something, go get that'll change your life. But basically a lot of the foods that we have, the tomatoes and stuff that you see in the markets, they were picked green like a month before. And then what they do is just before they get to the store, they expose them to a certain kind of gas, and that turns them red.
Jeez.
So it really, it's a long story. We could spend hours on it, but really try to pick foods that are grown as close to you as possible, picked as close to their ripeness as possible, and try to stay out of the processed food aisle, because really something that is labeled as a natural flavor, if you actually saw the list of chemicals, it would look like you were, looking at the diagnosis of downtown Detroit or something.
But they come in pretty boxes.
I know, and the pictures are so cool.
Now, Doug, for people that in your experience have been taking this All One, is weight loss associated with the intake of this?
It can be, because one of the things that happens is when you crave sweets or when you crave salt, those cravings are really because your body has nutritional deficiencies. You got to go all the way back to before we got into this whole messing around with our food supply business, and realize that the sweet was where the nutrients were. In other words, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, the really good stuff is in naturally ripened fruits and vegetables that are naturally sweet. They have a natural sugar in them. So when your body's craving sugar, it's really craving those nutrients. The problem is now we end up grabbing a candy bar or something like that, which has just the sugar, and what that does is your body eats up the vitamins processing the sugar, and it just amplifies the deficiency, so the cravings just increase and increase. So the answer to your question, when a person starts taking All One, their nutritional content goes up. They notice a couple things. Their fingernails start growing, their hair gets shiny, they don't have split ends, because those are the furthest extremities of the body, and when you have enough nutrition in your body, you'll notice that, because that's the last thing to get, good nutrition.
This stuff, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is this stuff expensive?
It comes out to $1.50 a day, and when you think of, this is your life you're talking about, it's really pretty cheap when you get right down to it. It depends on the formula. I think $1.20 to $1.80. Some of them are a little more expensive. We only have 6 of them, so.
Well, Doug, if you want to check into this, Wellness Through Nutrition, you can go to all-one.com or call 1-800-235-5727. Doug, enjoyed the conversation.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on your show. I've listened to you guys since I was a kid.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I'm an old man now. So.
Where do you live?
You're doing what you're doing.
Where are you from?
Santa Barbara, but I grew up in Pasadena.
Oh, all right.
Well, Doug, good luck with it, and thank you.
Okay, thanks so much for having me on.